Hi, it's Sally again, back with you. Welcome back to my channel. I have today a journal that I made a few months back. This was my very first trial after I took Nik the Booksmith's tome making workshop, where she taught this rounded spine and the hardboard cover and this wonderful cover treatment, and I just had a wonderful time making this book with her directions. So thank you, Nik. That was awesome. So I want to show it to you. I know I've promised to show you the little golden books that I'm going to list on my Etsy, and they're finished all right, but I just I wanted to show you this first, and then I'll get into little golden books. I think I'm done showing you journals that I've made before. So I'm going to open this silk ribbon tie and see if I can get this in frame for you. Yep, there we go, maybe. All right, so let's take a look at this booger. This is a Tim Holtz paper on this side, and I actually added to it. I put real pressed flowers in with this little flower arrangement right here, and then he had a butterfly here, okay, but I covered it with a transparency of a butterfly. And so I think I recolored this section. Just wanted to make it look and feel a little more real. And then just this little burlap doily. This doily and this yummy brayered paper that I've talked about before that's so glittery and glitzy, and then this fabric, upholstery fabric, together for me makes a signature wrap. So this wraps all the way around the first signature, and you'll see when we come to the end of this signature the other end of these sections. So this would be the first page with a rubber stamp and some lace. Coffee dyed paper, obviously. Some purchased mulberry type paper with leaf inclusions. This page has, for the tuck spot, the spine of a book called The Keeper of the Bees. I don't know if you can see that or not. The Keeper of the Bees. And so I have a little wax seal with a bee on it here. And then these little pieces, just journal cards. Life is the flower for which love is the honey, from Victor Hugo. And then it just has a little place on the back to journal. And this I believe I got from Nik's digital kit. I'm not sure, but I think that's right, because it looks similar to some others I'm going to show you in a minute. This is a regular real postage stamp on the back with a flower plant on it. And then inside I have some little bee postage stamps, real flowers and bees. See that? See the bees? So they can be used in this book. Although, I think I've told you before that when I make a journal for the first time, a different kind for the first time, which this tome was, this huge thing, was the first time that I had made such. So the very first one I always keep. Am I going to get this back in here? Yes, I think I am. So I'm going to keep this journal, and I shall be making 4 more, because when I first took the course, I made 4 journal covers. Let me show those to you right quick. This one, of course, was the first one I made. And then the next one I made was very similar, just a different color and a different pattern on the front, but the same kind of rounded spine. And this is just the cover, so you see I have some to go. I have to finish this one. None of these are finished. The next one I made was like this, similar cover situation, but why is this not giving me any light? Anyway, I'm getting quite a shadow here. Anyway, this cover is the same, similar thing, except that it's covered with tissue paper instead of cloth. The cloth is on the spine, and it's got a rounded spine also, and it's also not finished. So then the next one, I decided to branch out, and I used tissue paper on this one too, but can you see this? And I finished it out with a cloth spine. This is copper tape. I put lace on the spine and a little copper frame with a little cherub inside. So this is kind of a Victorian sort of looking thing, I believe. A little bit anyway. So there's that one. And then the other one I made, I've actually cut some paper for signatures in this one. Let me get this light up again. And this has a different inside. It has outside cover. It has the tissue like the last one did, but this is a wooden piece that I covered the tissue over, and like Nick explained how to do, and then used the fabric spine and painted it. So this one is my gray book, and I have actually got some signatures in this one. I haven't finished the inside of the cover or anything else. I just got some paper out. I decided to do this book with coffee dyed gray and beige. So that's kind of gray and brown or whatever. So that's what I've done for these signatures. Here's a brown one. So I'll show that to you later when I ever get it done. I'm planning to do those for sure after I get my little little golden book junk journals done. Okay, so anyway, back to this journal with the little bees to go with my bee theme. And then graph paper. Lovely little heart came out accidentally on the coffee dye. This is a sewn-in pocket with washi tape and just a little journaling card. This is vellum with map. Oh, I just knocked my embellishment off. I'll have to put that back on. This is a little, we used to call them worry dolls. I don't know. They're those little bitty dolls with the, well, let me show it to you. Little bitty doll with the fabric on it and just a painted face. Anyway, I'll have to put that back in there. Okay, and then some coffee dyed paper. Here's an envelope, a brown envelope with a ribbon attached. And fabric, this is upholstery fabric on the flap. This is a transparent pocket. It has a little journal card in it. This just has a journal card inside, which came from Bo Bunny, I believe. And I printed with corrugated cardboard the lines and then just made a little flip over there so it would fit in the envelope. Then we have music paper, which is tearing. I'll have to do something about that. That's really, really old paper, and that's why it's tearing like that. And this is actual fabric inclusions in this handmade paper that I purchased. I made a tab out of just drywall tape and a fragment of rusted paper and a little little commercial tab that I got somewhere. And I think I might have rubber stamped the back of that. This is yummy brayered paper with a little gold embossed sticker on a muslin ruffle. The other end of that decorative paper, the other end of the music, the other end of the envelope has a raised fleur-de-lis on it, and inside just a journaling card. And then this is washi tape postage stamps at the bottom of this page. And the other end of the vellum map. Here is actually two double pocket. This front one is a transparent pocket and has this little journaling card in it. And then the next one is made, the pocket made by folding the graph paper up, and it's just a little journaling spot. Just made little journaling spots throughout. I think I'm going to have to glue that down a little more. I've been showing it to too many people. Can I get it back in or not? So that's just coffee dyed graph paper. And then I have this little clip that holds the tiny little envelope on. Has a little space for writing down here as if you put a specimen in. Actually, what I have in here are some of my moo cards. These are little bitty cards that are actually pieces of my artworks, just a little piece of them, not the whole art piece, not the whole artwork, but some little pieces. This was a little piece of a doll thing I did. Anyway, these little moo cards, if you don't know, some of you may not know, but I guess they still have them. I guess you guys are probably still making them. But they put your business information on the back, or your personal information. So you can use them for business cards if you want to, calling cards. Then I have the other end of this decorative paper with the leaf inclusions. This is upholstery fabric with an embroidered bug on it. This is just a little journaling card. Dragonfly, that's what that is. I thought of it. You know, I get what I call video amnesia. That's what that was. This is a picture of Monaco. Now, I got this out of an old photograph album that I purchased, and when I have something like this that I want to be able to see the back and I don't want to glue it in, you know, I think I've told you before, I like to use photo corners so that you know you can take it out and look at the back and put it back in. You could also use this as a tuck spot if you wanted to. And here is the other end of the signature wrap. The other end of the upholstery fabric, the other end a bigger piece of the yummy brayered paper, and the other end of the little burlap doily. So that's the first signature. The second signature is wrapped with this wallpaper with a little embellishment, a little clock, resin clock embellishment, little postage stamp and cancels on the back. This is yummy brayered paper without all the blingy inclusions. I was going for a sort of a leather look. And this is just the back. It's a die cut. This is embossed, an embossed envelope. Has a little playing card in it. Not a playing card, but a game card, some kind of card. Anyway, this is just a little piece of bling on a garment pin here on the lace, stamps and a cancel. Here is a really grungy transparency transfer. I think this was tape, and I put it down on the picture and then wet it and wiped the paper off the back. You guys have done that before. Here's an envelope that I used, a technique that I think I've probably told you about, which is brayered ink. This is stamping ink, and actually I use those kaleidoscope ink pads, which have the little different colors in different pads, and then I ink up my roller, my brayer, and spritz the brayer with water, and then it comes out looking like this with watercolor look when I put it down to the paper. So inside here is simply a little journaling card. This is a little bitty tuck spot for a little bitty tag. You could make a note on that. Vellum. This is purchased vellum with a design on it. Scrapbook paper. I watercolored on the back of that. Just, this is, you know, coffee dyed paper, but I thought it ended up with some sort of an interesting pattern on it. I don't know for sure how that happened. This is a kind of marbled paper. I believe it was made with acrylic paint, but a friend of mine gave me that paper, and I love it. Look at that accidental heart. I love it when that happens. Just some ledger paper, a library card, which has a little journal card tucked in, and this little booklet tucked in. This is a rub-on, as is this little insect. And this is just a little book that has on its inside covers, you see here, a receipt. That's what I use for the inside cover. And then I just put some paper in so you could just make some little notes. And there's a little picture in the middle. So that's just a little place to write. Coffee dyed paper. This is what I call extreme coffee dyed. This was probably used as a background, a backdrop when I was working on other things, and it really got a lot of coffee dye on it, and those are rubber stamps. Here is a pocket made from upholstery material. This is a scrapbook paper that I just folded to make this little booklet that could be written in. Tim Holtz paper doll on this little fake Instamatic, what do you call them? Polaroid pictures. Video amnesia. A playing card. And just a little journaling card. This pocket is made from a large sheet of paper that we did. It was the thickness of a cardstock. We did, I think it was watercolor. It might have been acrylic, but I believe it was watercolor. We just made designs all over them. It was at a workshop one time, and or a friend was over showing us how to do it. And then you just cut it out. We cut little blocks of it out. But then when I wanted to do this pocket, I just cut it in half, and I think the other half is somewhere else in the book. Here is some Citrusolve paper. You may have done that. It's done on National Geographic pages. You put Citrusolve cleaner on it and let it soak into the ink, and close the book, and they just make these awesome pages. I need to do that again. That was fun. Coffee dyed. Here's a little pocket with a Tim Holtz thing, and this is just a little journal card. I think I'd like to stitch around that. Here's another playing card, a little card, and a ticket. This is a fabric. No, it's not fabric, actually. It's scrapbook paper. Here's the other end of that Citrusolve paper. Isn't that awesome? I just love that. And a postcard. Postcard from is a portrait of the artist by Rose Adelaide Ducrot, and it was the National Museum of Women in the Arts. I got that when I was in Washington. Okay, and then here's a little tag that I made into a pocket for another lovely little family of children that I got in that photo album. See, you can see the black pages, where it was on black pages. And in this hole of the tag here, I put these little gems, little jewels. Then we just have the other side of these pages with the watercolor and scrapbook pages. This is a little transparent pocket here with this little booklet in it, made from a ticket and just a little scrap piece of paper. And oh, this has a metal tab on it with music paper in it. Okay, let's see how we're doing. This is vellum paper, the other end of that. The other end of that envelope I did with the ink, brayered ink, and I just decorated it a little bit. There's a card in this one. This is a soul card, they're called. A little deck called soul cards. I don't know, I've never used them. I just like the pictures. And this is a fabric tab with a little metal piece, I think from Tim Holtz, maybe. You can see that easier up here. Okay. And then this is the other end of that embossed envelope. This is the other end of that fake leather look Yummy Braillard paper without the bling in it, and the other end of the wallpaper that has just a little butterfly sticker on it. And so that was the wrap for that signature. Here's the wrap for the next signature. It is a card. I think maybe, I don't know if that was from Tim Holtz or not, but I think that might have been. Anyway, this is fabric, upholstery fabric, and I sewed this little trim on it. I believe this page is from Nik the Booksmith's digital kit. I've forgotten the name of that. Maybe I can link it when I post this video. And then just some journaling cards, a lace tuck spot. This is, you've seen this before in my journals. It's tempera paint on newsprint, and then it has a little metal tab on it. It's part of one side of an envelope. This is a Cavallini postcard. I love Cavallini products. And this is a little bag I got at the store somewhere sometime. Had butterflies on it, and I just put this little scrapbook card made into just a little display. There's a transparent pocket here, a large transparent pocket. Usually my transparent pockets are very small, but this one's large, and it just has a plain card in it. And I punched out the corners too to make it a little more interesting. This is paper crunched up and spread back out, and color piece in the middle, and then this little piece of thread is couched on with blue thread. This is the other end of Nik's digital kit page. A doily pocket with just a little journaling card. Watercolor paper on coffee dyed paper. Watercolor on coffee dyed paper. This is a Tim Holtz pocket. I made a pocket of it, and this is Tim Holtz. It's like the cover. It's a similar page to the cover. So you can see how it was originally, and then it's just got a place to journal on the back. It wants to jump out of here. This is a little journal place that I just took out of a notebook I have. My grandmother's handkerchief. One reason I'm keeping the book. Some old ledger paper. I thought maybe it had a date on it, but it does. This one does. Oh, yes, it does. 1938. Drywall tape and a little piece of lace tape. Tim Holtz pictures into a tuck spot. A little Tim Holtz paper in there. And this is gesso and watercolor on the background. This was the back of this paper was the back of Nik's digital kit page. And here's another, the middle sheet has two more of those large transparent pockets and two more playing cards. These little colorful things on here are rub-ons. Another sheet of Nik's digital kit, which I painted on the back. This is, I don't know, a piece of random paper and a cleaner's tag for the tag on this one. Here's the other end of the ledger paper, the other end of the handkerchief. This is a small transparent pocket with a little puffy owl sticker on it. This is just a little piece of journaling card with ribbon in it. A belly band with just a card to write on. This is a metal tab, and it's actually attached with nuts and bolts. I hope you can see that. I'm going to raise it up so you can see. These are the tiniest little bolts you ever saw in your life. These little teeny tiny bolts. And on the back, the nuts are on the back, screwed on. So I love using those. I think they're very much fun. Another piece of Nik, the other end of Nik's paper, digital kit. This is a piece of faux metal paper that I made with Elmer's glue and flame. Have you ever done that? It's a lot of fun. And then just a piece of cheesecloth in here and a piece of upholstery fabric. The other end of that bag, which I opened up so that I could put this little paint card in with stickers and a place to write on the back. The other end of the envelope has a rusted paper towel. No, I think this was a rusted coffee filter. And just a Cavallini card. No, this is a K and Company card. I like their little cards. They're nice. And the other end of Nik's digital page and the other end of the wrap with the upholstery fabric and this little card. And on the back of this one, I used eyelets, which were solid eyelets, to attach this piece of upholstery fabric with the bird on it. Then this signature wrap is coffee dyed paper with copper powder included in it, and this black lace for a trim around the whole signature, and then burlap lace on top of it here. I just left this side open because I like the way that looks on the back. These were the other envelopes that I know came from Nik's digital kit. So they're made just like that other one, so I'm sure it came from that too. And inside these, I just have these little stickers of famous paintings. And the other one has famous paintings in it also. So I just put those right in here. See how I can get it in. And that little piece of, this is actually a folded piece of ledger paper. And music book, music page, from a hymnal, and coffee dyed paper and ledger paper, and this is some mulberry paper that I made. I didn't make the paper, I bought the paper, mulberry paper. And this is more ledger paper with coffee dye on the back. This is just a little pocket with journal cards in it, couple of little just places to journal. This little pocket is a flip, and it's made from Edith Holden's book page. And then this is an image I got off the internet somewhere. I've forgotten now where it was. And this is just an envelope. I don't believe there's anything in that yet. This is a little piece that of a card that I got at an art exhibit here in Houston not long ago. Another piece of citrusol paper. I thought that little image looked a bit like an apple. Maybe. maybe not. And the other side, I love the other side too. Scrapbook paper, a napkin, handmade paper with text inclusions on top of some decorative paper that I bought, some designer paper. And this is a little clip with a resin tip. Here's a little tab, metal, says Hope, has a little bow I put on it. And cheesecloth on this flap of the envelope, and this little metal piece says, "Why not?" And inside is just a journaling card from Tim Holtz. Here is a page edged with Yummy Brayered paper strip, some brads, and a piece of copper that's folded over the edge of the paper and hammered together. And this side has Yummy Brayered paper also, and drywall tape and lace and a postage stamp. And here we have a glassine envelope with an envelope inside, and it's just got a little card that could be, it's a magazine subscription card that comes in magazines that drive you crazy, you know, and it's got gesso on it and watercolor, and you can write on that or put a photo on it. I think I would probably put a photo on it. And page has a tab with burlap and lace and a little leather sample. Another Cavallini postcard. The other end of that watercolored pocket, a sticker from some piece of fruit. The other end of the glassine envelope has just a little journaling card in it. I need to fix the back of it. This is an Eiffel Tower clip with a little bell on it. There's just watercolor on the flap of that envelope and a little metal tag that says 9. And then just a little journaling card. This side has the watercolor and the tea dye and coffee dye. And this is just scraps of paper. All of these are just scraps of paper put on there. This is the other end of the paper that I purchased, the designer paper. I think it's beautiful. I believe this is probably distress ink on the edge of this scrapbook paper. And this is more Citrusol paper. The other end of that photo. Here's a card. This card came from a deck of cards that was made from Art and Soul participants. Art and Soul is a conference made for art, mixed media art. And the other end of the mulberry paper and the ledger paper. This is a piece of handmade paper with plant inclusions in it. And I've just got places to journal inside it. A little tab with a map on the inside. The other end of that music paper and the other end of the ledger paper that was just handwriting. Just made a tuck spot out of that, or a pocket, whatever you want to call it. This little tab, these little tabs are made from the address stickers, like Avery address stickers that you use to put in your computer and print out mailing addresses on them. And I just, I used some walnut ink and some coffee dyeing and on all of it, and then I did some rubber stamping. Now I just left the labels on the sheet, and I just did all this coffee dyeing and whatever, and then I stamped all over it just randomly, so there's nothing that you can really tell what it is. But then I sewed them on here as a tab with a little decorative plant stitch. That's a transfer, a gesso transfer. Here's a little transparent pocket with a gold-tipped feather in it. And this paper, this coffee dye paper, has the gold powder inclusion in it. And on the back is the rest of the page and that lace that wraps around the signature. And then this very last signature is wrapped with this scrapbook paper with just some postage stamp and drywall tape, excuse me, and a clip, and a little bag, little sack with a playing card, and a belly band with a little envelope that says, "Don't postpone joy. Whatever you do, don't postpone joy." And then there are just some journaling cards inside it. There's lace on the edge of this page and some stenciling. This is a digital stamp. The other end of the graph paper is some graph paper. Here's a little vellum pocket with just a journaling card in there. This was a piece of paper towel that was rusted, and I thought that little section looked like a heart, almost exactly, so I cut it out as a heart. And a book page with lace and ribbon on it. This page was painted, I don't know, with watercolor, I think, but it must have some gesso or some kind of fibers in it or something, because it's textural. And I really like the look, and I really wish I could remember how I did it so I could do it again. Here's a paper bag that's got ink on it and skeleton leaf, and inside is just a little ledger journaling card. Music paper, mulberry paper, tea dyed, or rather coffee dyed graph paper. I mean, not graph, yeah, graph paper or ledger paper. There's a little metal tab with a 7 on it. This is a vellum envelope. That's just the flap of it. The center page here is an Edith Holden page with a poem, Daffodils by Wordsworth. The other end, this is the actual envelope, the vellum envelope, and inside is just a little journaling spot. Coffee dyed paper. This is a copy of some Citrusolve paper, so it's flat, it's not shiny. And this is a little tab that I think I must have gotten from somebody because I don't remember making it. So I must have gotten that in the mail somehow. Perhaps I am too old to die. I think that way sometimes. And then there's just this little tag with the alphabet on it. Perhaps I'm too old to die. Graph paper, mulberry paper, music paper. Here's a embellishment on the side of this, the edge of this page. It is velveteen-like fabric that I just sewed the X's on and did the zigzag outside. And here's a little piece of trim that I got, I think at Hobby Lobby or Walmart one. Has little wooden buttons sewn on it. And then bamboo paper, just a little piece of bamboo paper. There's where you can see where I sewed it in. This page is embellished with an actual watch face and some drywall tape. Here's a little graph page with a little transparent pocket, and here's just a little tea card or cigarette card, one or the other, I don't know which, that you could do a little journaling on. Digital stamp, more stenciling, and then the last of the back of the wrap with drywall tape, and a little, this drywall tape is a pocket with a little photograph that where I photographed an angel at the cemetery here in town. And then you have the back cover with the Ex Libris. There's lace on here. There's a transparency of eggs. I think there are eggs on the paper. And then these stamps again, real postage stamps. So I made it a little more textural. And then that's the end of that lovely piece. So I think that probably wraps up what I'm going to show you of journals that I've made in the past. And this one is fairly recent, however. It was made right when Nik the Booksmith did her very first teaching of these tomes. And I appreciate it, Nik. Thank you so much. And I'll put that reference to her course on this on my YouTube page, so you'll know you can, because she still offers the course. You can still take it, and there are lots of others too that are awesome. So thanks for that, Nik, and thank you all for being here. I think the next time I'll be showing you my little golden books that are going to be put on Etsy. Thanks a lot. Come back. Bye.